Hello, you're welcome to today's class. So we'll be looking at manual structural design. So for this series of this class, we're calling it MSD, manual structural design. So this will be part 1. I'll just say 01. For each videos, I'll just name them MSD 01 to continuous, right? So for manual structural design, we'll start with the purpose of a structural design. Why do we need to do structural design in the first place? So let's say purpose of structural design. So why do we need to do structural design? So the first aim of structural design, the major aim of structural design of any structure is to achieve an acceptable probability that the structure under consideration will be safe and must not become unfit during its intended lifespan. In essence, the structure must be functional. The structure must be functional to perform the purpose for which it is constructed. So in essence, the structure must be functional to perform the purpose for which it is constructed. Then 2, the structure must be economical with regards to cost of construction and maintenance. The structure must be economical. Say economy. So we make design to ensure that the structure is economical, right? Then it must be durable. Structure must be durable. When we say structure should be durable, it means that the structure is said to be durable if an adequate concrete cover is provided for reinforcement to protect it against environmental hazards and corrosion. Because when the reinforcements are exposed to environmental hazards, over time it corrodes and leads to failure. So it must be durable. Then fourthly, the structure must be robust. The structure, let's say robust. So the structure must be robust in the sense that the damage caused on any structure due to an external force or pressure must be disproportional. Okay, so notes that concrete is good in resisting compression, while reinforcement is good in resisting tension. So concrete is good in compression, while reinforcement, your Y16, Y12 and so on, reinforcement is good in resisting tension, tensile stress and all. So we'll now be going into reinforced concrete structures, because our design is mainly practically going to be on concrete and reinforcement. So introduction to reinforced concrete structures. It is important that we understand the rudiments of the structures. We have get to know these preliminaries before we head into design proper. So like I said, concrete as a semi-plastic material is good in compression but very weak in tension. In essence, it can resist crushing but not expansion. When it's exposed to tension, it easily collapses. Conversely, the reinforcement is weak in compression but very good in tension, and can also withstand compression in appreciable extent, but it is more resistant to tension, to tensile stress. However, the high temperature due to thermal effects and reinforcements, the reinforced steel will suffer melting and corrode if exposed to moisture. Therefore, the concrete, which is fire resistance material, will protect the reinforcement against corrosion and fire. So in essence, the combination of concrete and reinforcement, they are like good companions to enhance the safety of buildings, right? So this reinforced concrete is a combination of reinforced steel within a freshly cast concrete that is attained to set or to be in a hard state in order to resist tension, fire, corrosion, as well as compression. So our concrete and reinforcement. So concrete plus reinforcement is good in tension, compression, fire, compacting, and corrosion. So what is a structure? A structure is any set of components connected together with the sole aim of resisting the effect of an applied load or pressure without failure. That is a structure. So a structure is any set of components connected together with the sole aim of resisting the effect of an applied load or pressure without failure. So we've dealt with the purpose of structural design and the introduction to reinforced concrete structures. Now, what is the purpose of structural analysis? Purpose of structural analysis. Purpose of structural analysis. The purpose of structural analysis. Structural analysis are carried out to obtain data or parameters for design. So before you make your design, you have to do some analysis. These parameters may include the shear force, the moment, displacement, stresses, and strain. That is analysis. You have to analyze some stuff. Then after that, you go into design. Design is done to check the response of this analysis in line with the known forces. The response of the structure